Hey, how's it going? Josh for 6 Up Tabletop. New video today, but in a more real sense, it's actually an old series that I had been doing, and this was just an idea that I'd kind of been mulling over for the past year or so. And yeah, a project that I had interest in just trying to paint up and see what it would look like. So today I kind of want to talk through and explore what painting the Young Guard for the French would look like for Epic Battles Waterloo. Thanks for joining, and let's get right into it. Like I had mentioned in the intro, it has been a while since I've tried to tackle a little bit of Epic Battles Waterloo, and I have been getting a little bit of inspiration. There's a channel, Napoleonic Wargaming. I always like to watch his videos just for interesting history stuff, and he covers a lot of different, as his title suggests, Napoleonic armies. And I recently had watched a video on his series about the Imperial Guard. And there's discussion about the Young Guard and the roles they played in different battles throughout Napoleon's campaigns. And I was just really thinking, what would it be like to make a Young Guard unit for Epic Battles Waterloo? Now, see if I can get this to focus. The French flags sheet for the Waterloo campaign does include two Young Guard sections. Now, I don't believe they're actually flags. Now, I'm not a historian, but doing a little bit of reading that they didn't actually carry any eagle or a regimental flag into battle. They carried these fanions, and there's the white for the tirailleurs and red for voltigeurs. So I apologize for my French there. But yeah, so I was like, all right, this is great. They provide the flags or the fanions for the unit, so let's see what we can do. So I prepared the Young Guard pretty much the same way I prepared the other infantry units for Epic Battles Waterloo. Just taking a look at them here. So you could do something like this for column of attack. You can have 3 rows deep with these guys for during march. Like the other units, I split these two bases here, and then you can also do something nice, form a square, and that's always something that's cool to do with its models. There we go. Something along these lines to get the square formed. Now I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, some of the artistic decisions I made. And if you have ever painted a unit of Young Guard for Epic Battles Waterloo, I would love to hear a little bit, maybe some critiques, maybe some decisions that you made to have them stand out a little bit from the other line infantry units you have, because there really is kind of like a halfway between the old middle guard and a normal line infantry. A couple things I did is there's 2 different basically like infantry sets of sprue. This is a normal line infantry. They have their greatcoats in the back there, so I purposely chose all non-greatcoat infantry, and so I don't know, I just think it's a cool look, and it sets them apart as their own unit. I added a little gold, I don't know if it's gold or brass striping right here on the butt of their gun. So they would all have on their shakos, there'd be, so some of these are covered, and some of these are, now it's definitely not an Imperial Eagle, but I did something that looked like from a very far distance that it could be an eagle. So it's just a couple markings, kind of like an X, kind of, and a Y, to have something a little bit different for the crowned eagle on the plate. Now they would have red epaulettes as being tirailleurs. Pardon my French again. And so that was actually a little bit difficult painting them. You can kind of see a little bit in between each of the models. You can see all the epaulets. There's really not that much room to get anything but a really tiny brush, but that's what I ended up doing. Went with the white trousers, black gaiters, mixed up some of the length as it's modeled, and yeah, the fanion, the flag. I mean, I think it looks pretty good for the Young Guard. So I tried to add a little bit more detail so that they could kind of really stand out. So on the right, we have the Young Guard, and on the left, we just have a normal line infantry unit. So I wanted to compare a little bit to see if I was able to make some difference. As you can see, the line unit, you'll be able to see some of the grenadiers with the plumes. So any of the plumes that were on the models, I did trim them off for the Young Guard here. Hopefully you can see a little bit of the shape of the eagles that I tried to do as compared to just the solid brass plate for these units. So that would be comparing that unit to a normal line infantry unit. Though admittedly far away on the table, I'm not sure how much difference it will really make other than just the flag. Not having the eagle and having the fanion instead of the regimental color. And here's an example of how the Young Guard would look in comparison to how I painted the Old Guard. So yes, the Old Guard, very iconic. The mustaches and the front brass plate, definitely more distinctive than the Young Guard. That is pretty much all I have on this video. It was fun. It was a good project. I'm glad that I was able to do it. Every time I paint epic battles, it reminds me it is challenging to paint these small models, and I'm impressed time and time again by how much detail Warlord Games was able to distill in such small models. I almost wish sometimes they would have less detail so I could just paint it quicker and not up to the standard that I've already established for my army. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Have you painted any Young Guard? What did you do to make them stand out? Similar, different to what I have? Love to hear your feedback or thoughts on this, and hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.